AITA for telling my daughter I already knew she is a lesbian? I am not the OOP. OOP is Basikapabara 4280. AITA for telling my daughter I already knew she was a lesbian November 4, 2022. Originally posted to Am I the Asshole? I am 46F. My daughter is 16F. Her 16th birthday was yesterday. Every birthday I bake her a cake. I've done it since her first birthday. I was baking in the afternoon when she got in the kitchen saying, "Mom, I need to tell you something." I stopped when I was doing to pay attention to her and asked what's wrong. She said, "Mom, I have to be honest with you." She spoke in a little speech here about how much she loves me and how she can't keep this secret anymore. So, that I can finally tell you that I like girls. I'm a lesbian. I immediately responded with, "I know." She was shocked and shouted, "You knew? How?" I said, "Honey, you have gay written all over your face. Honestly, I wasn't even expecting you to come out. Just to come home one day to introduce your girlfriend to us." She started crying a little. Then I continued talking and retelling some key moments that give away that she likes girls. Like that moment in first grade when she referred to her best friend as her bride. She asked if her dad knows. And I said yes. She was hurt, said that she has been planning coming out for so long. That was riddled by anxiety every time she tried to speak to me or her dad about it. And that I should have told her that I knew, so she could skip all the near anxiety attacks. I said that there was always a chance I could be wrong. Or that she could be bi or pan. And in the end, she is a separate person and her sexuality is not my business. I told her I love her so much that this changes nothing, and I will welcome any partner of hers. She nodded with the head, but started crying and went to her room. I finished the cake, but she went out that night with her friends instead. I saved the cake in the fridge, waited for her to come home, but when she arrived went straight to her room. Today, she left for school, barely saying good morning to me. I don't know if I was too cold, too distant, or whatever. Something is wrong here and I don't know if it is me. AITA? Update. Hello. I'm back here. Last night I spoke to my daughter. She was still very emotional, but she allowed me to speak to her. I apologized for my response. I told her I was sorry, that I understood it was a big moment for her, and I wanted her to know that I will always love her. She said was sorry for acting out, but I told her she had nothing to apologize for. We had a long talk. She opened up about her fears. She was trying to not be so obviously queer because some kids at her school are awful against queer kids. Knowing that she is very obviously gay spiked her fears. I apologized again, and I will talk to the school administrators as soon as I can. I need to protect my daughter. She spoke about her anxiety issues. After the talk she was calmer. But I'm worried about her. I think she might have an anxiety disorder. I'll book her a psychologist for that. She agreed to go to a psychologist. She also said that she loved me and was glad that I supported her. I told everything to her dad. He also spoke to her to say more or less the same I did. And will take her to the movies tomorrow. Thank you all. Mostly to the queer people telling their experiences in the comments. Relevant comments. Your mother's buttocks commented, "The last thing I would have wanted was my mom saying, 'Honey, I know you're a lesbian,' when I was a baby gay before I've had the chance to vocalize it. And while every kid is different, you absolutely were not wrong for not saying something sooner. I don't think you were the asshole in your response. You didn't say, 'I know,' snidely. You were loving and accepting. As you should be. She's processing lots of things here. And that's okay. Nah." Madeline Gumbo Crapton commented, "YTA. When you're anxious about coming out, It can be a big comfort to know you're hiding your secret well and nobody knows what you're anxious about people knowing about you. You took that sense of security and stomped it. When someone is out and proud, you have gay written all over your face can be an amazing affirmation. What your daughter heard was, "You're terrible at hiding this," and everyone you meet immediately knows you're a lesbian. Oop replied, "Oh, seeing it from that perspective, I feel terrible. I am not sure how out of the closet she is. I am very sure her friends know and maybe are queer themselves. But she might have reasons to be in the closet with other people. I'll wait until she is ready to talk to address that. What can I give my lesbian daughter as a present?" November 2022. Originally posted to our lesbian. Hello. My daughter came out as lesbians a few days ago. I already knew, and gotta admit, I messed up a bit because she was trying to hide her queerness. But turns out it's pretty obvious. Yet I will support her in whatever she needs. I wanna compensate her for the messy coming out. And I was thinking about giving her something pride-related or specifically lesbian. I need some advice because I have no idea what to buy that is not a rainbow flag. To be clear, I like the rainbow flag. But I think it's too obvious and I want her to know that I did put some thought into it. And finally, why so many lesbian subs or NSFW? This is the third lesbian sub I visit and the first SFW one. I also apologize for the flare choice. I had no idea what to click. I'm planning on redoing my daughter's coming out. Am I doing it right? November 2022. Originally posted to our lesbian. I wanna throw her a surprise party this weekend. I bought a rainbow flag. A lesbian flag. I also bought some pins. A pride theme crop top. Boots. Wrist wraps. Nail polish. Eyeliner. A few posters. And got everything to make a lesbian colored cake. I tried to find everything fitting her overall style and taste. I also bought a little desk pride flag to have at my bakery next to the cash register. I play to hang a flag on the kitchen. Wait for her to come downstairs on the morning. And say, "Hey honey, do you have something to tell me about? Something you wanted to tell me for a while." I don't know if these would be the right words, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. She is smart, so I hope she catches the idea and come out again. Then I will hug her, tell her I love her, and give her the presents. My husband helped me buy everything. I want some opinions to know if I'm doing it right or if I am being too overbearing. Relevant comments. Rini 1031 commented, "You know your daughter. You know if this will overwhelm her or not. Although, personally, if my dad did this for me, I'd be so happy." G. Luton Free Cookie 779 commented, "Love this so much. I wish my mom did something like this. I read your previous post about your daughter's coming out and her becoming upset that you already knew. I think this is a really beautiful, fun and loving way to celebrate her. Go ahead, I say, smiling face with hearts." Signal Historian 456 commented, "Please do not do that." Speaking with as a lesbian with anxiety disorder who also came out in her teen years. Please don't. It's meant well. I see that. But it's too much. I'm pretty sure she just wants to be loved and accepted. That's all. I'm pretty sure if she'd be into guys you also wouldn't throw a party for her. Please don't make such a huge deal out of it and make her feel like she's the rainbow sheep of the family and different BC of it. Update. Redoing my daughter's coming out November 2022. Originally posted to our lesbian. Hi, I've read your comments. And first I must clarify some things. I did wrong, assuming people would just look at my profile and read my previous posts. So in the post about my daughter coming out, many were worried that she wasn't out yet, and I was forcibly outing her. No, she was already out and I messed up everything. Second, I was also wrong by saying party when referring to do a second coming out. My intention was never to do some big celebration with people and music. Just give my daughter a cake, present, and try to make her redo that "Mom, I'm a lesbian" moment in our kitchen. Now, for the update. After reading the comments, I decided to downscale, to not be so overwhelming. I had a cake ready with the lesbian flag colors. I just waited for her to come down and say, "Hey honey, I did a cake. Do you want some?" She said yes and came into the kitchen. But then she saw the colors. Started to freak out a bit. But she was smiling and saying, "OMG mom. Thank you." Cried a little and hugged me. Then I pulled the pride flags from under the sink. And she was like, "Mom, this is too much. You didn't have to." I let her have her moment and said nothing. After she calmed down, started to take pictures of everything. But she posted nothing on social media. I don't know if she just kept it for herself or sent them to a friend. We ate the cake. Then she went to her bedroom. She is okay. I will give her the other presents over the days, one by one. I'm glad she was okay with it. As I said before, I suspect she might have an anxiety disorder. So I'm kinda walking on eggshells until we can go to a psychologist and I can have specific advice on what to do. Thank you all. I come back if I need some more advice. Relevant comments. Very expensive eggs commented. Heck yes. This was exactly the response I was hoping she could have. She definitely feels seen, heard, and loved today. You go mom. Teal Atlas commented. Even if she doesn't share it on social media, she will be sharing it. Coming out stories are often exchanged. And she will be showing those to whoever asks her. Glad to hear things are going well. I am not the oop. Then I pulled the pride flags from under the sink. And she was like, "Mom, this is too much. You didn't have to." I let her have her moment and said nothing. Mom quietly pushes bulging cabinet full of other lesbian-themed items closed with her foot. Honestly, I would have preferred this response to coming out as bi. My mom responded with, "Me too. And I used to date your godmother," rolling on the floor laughing. My coming out to my mom played out pretty much like OOP's daughters did. The first one, I had been very nervous about it. Especially as my mom is pretty religious and I had reason to think she might not be particularly supportive. She had been getting better about it before I came out. Which in hindsight is probably because she knew I was gay and she was working on changing her mindset. It was incredibly disarming, having worked up the courage to tell her. To be told that she already knew and I was not exactly adept at hiding it. In retrospect, she was right. I wasn't fooling anyone lol. All in all, the oop handled this pretty well. Kind of flubbed her first reaction. But she apologized and showed that she did understand the significance of the coming out experience. Both in what she said and in making space for her daughter to have the one she planned. I've actually put some thought into this. I've got one kid that I kinda suspect is gay. And there's always a chance that another will totally surprise me too. But it's a fine line, isn't it? You don't want to be shocked, especially if you really do already know. But you don't want to be dismissive either. I think I'm going to just say, "Thank you for telling me." And then gently ask if they have a current relationship and see what they expect to change now that they're out. This is so wholesome. My coming out as bisexual was kind of similar. I did it in the kitchen. Kitchen has no door. While they were in the living room, I heard nothing but silence after I just blurted it out. Looked up to see my uncle staring at me before he looked confused and said, "Wait, that's it? I thought that was obvious." Lol. The relief I felt that pretty much all of the family I have told already knew before me. I was in my mid-20s though, and my other LGBT family members from that side had good receptions to their coming out. So I can only imagine how nerve-wracking this was for OOP's daughter. I'm glad she has such loving and supportive, if not a bit extra, parents. Too many LGBT youth don't have this level of support. A lesbian colored cake. I need to know what color that is. OOP's response in all ways comes from love and acceptance. Even if she fumbled in the delivery, I definitely would have preferred her method over how my parents handled it. But to be fair, they set the bar in hell and still managed to trip over it. Honestly, every time I see this kind of post, I think I would react in the same dismissive, NBD type of way if I hadn't read so many of them. I admit that when I came out to my parents, I had to create some courage to go through it, but it was never a nerve-wracking moment for me, which accounts for my lack of empathy on the subject. It was like ripping off a band-aid. I feel like Reddit taught me what to do if a child of mine ever come out to me. Lol. How was lesbian the third subreddit she visited? Kinda glad I read this. Pretty sure one of my sons is gay. I have no issues and am ready for whenever he tells me if it goes that way. I probably would have said, I know, also. I would be thinking that would help him know I understand. Maybe I'll try letting him know when he is a little older. Preteen currently. I honestly hate the whole, don't even come out. Just introduce us to your same-sex partner when you have one, thing. I wanted to do that so bad when I was young. But I got to a point where I just couldn't hold it in anymore. I broke down crying at dinner and blurted out that I was bi. I knew my family would accept me and I really liked the idea of it being no big deal and just bringing it up casually or when I had a girlfriend. But damn it, it was a big deal to me. I spent years lying to myself and then years knowing but not saying anything. I couldn't wait another 3 months until I got my first girlfriend. In that moment I couldn't even wait another minute. And this is why I make it a point to tell my kids every so often, you know your dad and I will always love you no matter whether you like boys or girls. Right? Single quote. Less than eye roll, I know. Mom. Quote. I wasn't able to come out to my mom. She sat me down when I was 16 and told me that she knew I was, at the time, bisexual and that I had a girlfriend. She told me that she knew all this because she knew all the passwords to my social media and had been spying on my messages for years. Over a decade later, I still feel that I can't trust her, but I did get to come out again as a lesbian about 5 years ago. That time, I got to do it my way. But my dad is still convinced that I'm going to end up with a man, despite what I say. Why are so many lesbian subs NSFW? Oh, you sweet summer child. One of my BFFs in high school did the whole speech to me and I handled it very like oop. I didn't even think about how hard it was. It was just obvious and didn't matter to me. So I figured I'd save him the trouble. Oops. To be fair, he didn't have to worry about much. He was 6 feet 8 inches and nobody at our school wanted to mess with that. Still, sorry dude. And finally, why so many lesbian subs are NSFW? Because they're not made by us nor for us. When I came out to my mom, she basically said, I know. It's potentially an insensitive comment, but the relief I felt was so overwhelming. To know that my parents still loved and supported me overpowered anything else I could have felt. I do understand why OOP's daughter reacted the way she did though. My mom has been a huge ally her whole life. But I was still so scared of rejection that common sense did not prevail over my anxiety. What an amazing mom, Oopa's heart. I can't wait for coming out to no longer be a thing and being non-straight is as normal as being straight. Possibly a better response to the question of how she knew, in hindsight, would have been, "I'm your mother. That's how I know my daughter." Oop did good, I think. A few stumbles, but heart in the right place all along the way and receptive to advice and alteration. May they and their daughter find the peace they so deserve.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Cast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.